10 times zoom, a pop-up camera, a pretty good looking screen, and a nice profile. Yep, we do have the Oppo Reno 10 times zoom finally in the house. This is Pocketnow and I'm Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? I wanted to give you some quick thoughts as I start testing the Oppo Reno 10 times zoom. Okay, so at first glance, this is a very shiny device. It's got a wonderful blue hue and this nice little pattern on the bottom that shows you designed by Oppo. It definitely is. There's even a little nub at the top there with a green line around it that I actually find pretty fun to kind of pick at when I'm just holding the phone like this. It's where the fingerprint reader probably is supposed to be, but instead it is right here underneath the display and works really well. Now, I've already done a hands-on video for this, so you probably know a few of my thoughts about the phone, but I'm excited to be able to use it on the daily now, especially for that camera array. Now, here's the thing. I did do a real-world camera test with what was supposed to be a pre-production unit, and that's over on my channel, youtube.com/Joshua Vergara. If you want to see some examples of what this camera can do, then you can head over to that video as well. But there are still some quirks on here that remain after that initial real-world camera test, so maybe some updates are going to happen. For example, you still can't use the other lenses when using video. There's another phone that kind of has this, let's say, problem, and that is the OnePlus 7 Pro. It would have been nice to get more in the frame by using the wide-angle lens, or to get more dramatic shots by using the telescopic 5x zoom lens right here in order to get closer into the frame, into the scene for a more dramatic shot. This is not a versus with the OnePlus 7 Pro, but I just wanted to point out that I did notice the front-facing camera, while the field of view is kind of the same when it comes to photos, it definitely crops in a lot more on the OnePlus 7 Pro. For somebody that does vlogs and I like to do on-camera segments quite often on smartphones, the wider angle is definitely more appreciated on the Oppo Reno 10 times zoom. So as you might imagine, I went kind of crazy with the front-facing camera. I took quite a few selfies at a little party that I went to for Memorial Day, and also did a little bit of video with it that you can see right now. One final comparison point I want to make with the OnePlus 7 Pro, it's just the phone that we saw last, so I keep thinking about it. Well, the curve of the OnePlus 7 Pro is on the screen, and that is so they can squeeze a little bit more display onto this phone, and that's perfectly fine. But the curve on the Oppo Reno 10 times zoom is on the back, which means that it sits a little bit more comfortably in the hand. Now, both of these phones have similar footprints. They look very similar in terms of screen size. I have gone on record as to say that the OnePlus 7 Pro is a little too big of a phone. I still believe that, and I also believe that of the Oppo Reno, but this is a tiny bit more comfortable. That front-facing camera is also used for what Oppo has done a great job with, and that is facial recognition. Facial recognition on Oppo phones tends to be the most fun because their camera designs are a little more elaborate than your typical pop-up. In this case, it's what we call the shark's fin. I know that that's not the official name for it, but I can't help it. That's what it looks like. And personally, I love it that the phone practically raises an eyebrow at me in order to see if it's really me. The screen is a beautiful AMOLED display at Full HD Plus resolution. I've already used it for a lot of games and also for a lot of YouTube viewing. The speakers are also really impressive. Speaking of gaming, the Oppo Reno 10X Zoom does have what looks to be a trend in many flagship smartphones, the game space. Now, the game space is basically where you can have all of your apps, or rather your games, in one place. That way they're easy to launch. There are a few extra features, and one that's greatly appreciated is the ability to block the banners so that they don't cover up your gameplay. Aside from that, there's also a performance setting that you can have in either balanced, lower consumption if you want to elongate your playtime, or into a competitive mode that ups the performance and also the frame rate and responsiveness of the game in the phone at the cost of a little bit of battery life. So I've had this for a few days now, and those are the experiences that I've had so far on the Oppo Reno 10X Zoom. I am still going to put this camera through its paces. There are a number of things I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks where this wide angle and this periscoping zoom are going to come in really handy, especially for photos, because obviously you can't use those lenses in video. And so there you have it, some quick thoughts early on with the Oppo Reno 10X Zoom. This is an exciting device because it's putting a lot of the tropes we're seeing in flagship devices into one really unique looking package. Its take on the pop-up camera looks different. That's cool. It has the periscoping camera lens that allows for a 10 times total zoom without loss of clarity. That's cool. A fingerprint reader inside of a good looking AMOLED display. That's cool too. Alright, so just wanted to make sure you knew we had the Oppo Reno 10x zoom in hand. Once I put the camera through its paces and also use this as a proper daily driver so I can give you some insights on battery life and whatnot, I will give you my full review. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Pocketnow if you haven't already, and drop some likes on all of these videos so we know you like what we're doing. Get into the comment sections and have some discussions about all of the stuff we're talking about these days. And yeah, that should pretty much do it. I'm going to call it on this one, and we will see you in our next video.